to say welcome back to Weekend Walkabout in our gardens and yours virtually.
We're coming to you from gardenatz.org. I just lost my. Our main topic is diagnosing problems, part 2.
Part 2. We're hoping that you've viewed our webinar number 13, the first part of diagnosing problems,
Yeah.
But we'll give you a little recap, which we give you in the note-taking guide that are on our website under audience materials. Right now, you can download the outline with boxes to be filled in as we talk today, and the growing degree days chart. After we edit the video, you will have the boxes filled in with what we talk about today, like Japanese beetles and squashing them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not, I was supposed to get rid of those. I hope I didn't get rid of too many more. I hope I didn't.
I saw those and I thought you purposely left them in.
You mean there's a bunch of them in there?
There might be one
Oh,
or two
dear.
more.
When we sort out our slide, it's like having our screen as a big table that we're sorting things on, and the big orange letters help us find things. Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. Part 1 took us through the basics of diagnosing, which is a critical loop, starting with knowing what plant you're talking about. And
Know the plant.
know that it's a fir, not a pine. Know that it's a moonseed, not a bindweed. Then you can move to identifying the problem. And identifying the problem goes with things like knowing the name raspberry. This thing in my backyard that gets fruit on it, it's a raspberry. Even better, it's a rubus. That's its genus name. And even better, when we're looking through books, indexes, or website references, put in rubus, and what you see, lumpy knobs, describe it. It's wonderful on internet searches, or in a book, you would say you already know the keywords and you look up rubus and look for cane gall. When you do that, when you're looking for things by plant name and a description, you'll get all kinds of help on a website and in a good textbook. For instance, Ohio's website is going to take you, say, oh, could be your crown gall. And then you'll get pictures and you can look and see if it looks like yours, or no, maybe it looks like that. That's a parasitic wasp gall, which you might want to leave, because parasitic wasps they're parasitic on insects, not on or you'd find, and we tell people, aim for the extension, the .ext, .edu, and .gov sites. This, for instance, is Ontario's site, which takes you through all the problems. It said, well, we did a search by picture, and so there must be a picture in here that looks like it. And you might, as you look through these, go, my gosh, there's a lot of problems that raspberry can get. A lot of problems that raspberry can get.
And each one has a different symptom or a different sign.
Right. Then you can look and say, oh, there's a gall. No, that doesn't look like my lumps. So okay, it's not one of these. And you'll find also, this is a naturalist site, so the naturalist and a nature center might use this.
How do you pronounce that one?
Diastrophus.
I was reading disastrous.
Disastrous, yeah. And that's that parasitic wasp, because the insect has caused the plant itself to grow into a shape. The thorns are still sticking out from it in weird angles, and it dries and looks like that. And those are you're told. And Bug Guide is a great site, by the way, just for insect identification. Once you get there, now you have the scientific name of the bug, and that becomes an easier thing to search with. But anyway, you'll find that there's lots of help for you in diagnosing the problem, so that you are using the actual problem when you're looking it up. So most of them are, like we say, our extension sites. We're not saying the sites like ours and Walter Reeves' own personal site here doesn't have good information, but it's not always peer reviewed. You know, you can check and see. And of course, you get nose hair trimming ads on some other sites. Not on our site. We don't allow any ads. And I was very surprised when we did use the raspberry gall problem as a for instance, that none of those extension bulletins, not one of them, mentioned this particular type of very aggravating problem with raspberries, which is they don't ripen. Look, they're semi-ripe, getting red, but where are my raspberries? They're just gone until you click. Until you find one day, because you happen to be out there and hear the rustling. Sonia, do you want to explain how this came about? That she is not looking through the fence?
Yeah, she is definitely not poking around the fence. She is 100% stripping the raspberries that are even close to ripe off the ends of the branches, and yeah, just stripping them clean off. And she did it while I stood there telling her those were my raspberries. She sort of just looked up at me and then just grabbed another mouthful and pulled them off. Yeah,
Not in a single bulletin. We need to write in and maybe we can tell some of the Ontario people, include this in your.
Include the black labs.
Okay, so diagnosing is one part of this loop, and then once you have the name of something, you can evaluate how much damage is that going to do to the plant.
And what its
Or to the
damage
garden.
potential
Right,
is.
and then you can decide if you want to control it and what you can control it with. So for instance, if that gall on the raspberry ended up being crown gall, which can also occur on the cane, this is a devastating disease that can infect 100 different species in your
Yep.
garden. This is a rose with crown gall, where the crown has just grown into a tumorous mass. It's weakened the whole plant. It's a bacterial infection. And you don't want to be pruning that rose and cut something else, because then something else gets gall.
Which even if it was euonymus.
Yeah, we most often see wheat gardeners in this area on euonymus because it's very susceptible to it, generally at ground level. But if you trim that euonymus and then go use the same trimmers without disinfecting them, you're going to spread the crown gall. So that would be an indication, an example of diagnosing a problem, evaluating the damage, saying the potential is great, and so say, I'm going to control this. I'm going to remove the plant with the crown gall. Or I'm going to make sure I sterilize my pruners when I remove the part of the plant with the gall on it. Galls are not always a problem. These are galls on a linden tree. Each of those yellow spots is a protuberance sticking out of the leaf, and people go, "Oh my God, there's something strange going on." This is not a huge problem. It's a mite, one of those things that some summer evenings you walk out and go, "What's hatching out all over the place here?" It's teeny tiny insect.
Little guys.
It's not doing any severe damage to the tree, and it happens to be a gall that lives only on linden. It's not going to spread to your lilacs or to your maple or to anything else. And if you look at how much of the tree is involved, how much of the leaf surface is involved, the tree's still got 90% of its leaf surface. So it's not a problem. And it's important that you think through all 4 of those steps, not just the diagnosis, and critical that you then loop back.
You got to keep circling back.
If you decide to do something, you need to look and see if it worked and not do the same thing again if it didn't work. And if you didn't do anything, you need to know that you have that potential problem and look back to make sure it doesn't get worse. So that's our recap of the first part of this.